Imagine living a tale where dreams turn into reality, a staggering $500 million inheritance and ownership of a flourishing company. This became our new world when the staff witnessed my sister-in-law, Nora, jubilantly celebrating our family's fortune. The air buzzed with whispers among the employees, thrilled by the news, as Nora declared with a victorious tone, "Silence, please. This is the moment my husband takes over the company, along with a $3 million share of the inheritance." Her announcement set off a ripple of laughter among the employees, curious about the sudden turn of events. Amidst the unfolding drama, my elder brother, Jack, was engrossed in the legal documents handed over by our family's attorney. The color drained from his face as he absorbed the content of our father's will. "Take a look at this," he muttered to Nora, who let out a shriek upon reading the document. "Let me introduce myself. My name is Stella, a 26-year-old integral part of my father's legacy. From a tender age, I watched my father lay the foundation of what today is a thriving business. Despite facing early challenges and debts, his determination never wavered, a quality that inspired me deeply. Even as the business expanded, I yearned to support my mother, who managed the clerical and administrative duties behind the scenes. Encouraged by my parents, I had the freedom to explore any career path post-high school. Yet, my heart was set on contributing to the enterprise my father had dedicated his life to. This conviction only strengthened as I stepped into adulthood. Upon joining the family business, I was fortunate to be mentored by Leo, a seasoned employee. Leo's guidance was invaluable, imparting business fundamentals without treating me differently because I was the president's daughter. This experience enriched my understanding of our operations, shaping my approach to work. Meanwhile, my brother Jack, merely a year my senior, pursued management studies with the aim of succeeding our father. Jack took pride in sharing his future prospects with friends, often sparking discussions about his inevitable role as the company's president. "Why search for a job when I'm destined to lead our family business?" he'd say, exuding confidence about his path to presidency. This story unravels the complexities of inheritance, ambition, and the value of hard work through the lens of a family business. It challenges the notion of entitlement, emphasizing the importance of merit and dedication in leadership roles. As we delve deeper, the journey reveals unexpected twists, shedding light on the true essence of legacy and stewardship. Living a life wrapped in safety and security, my brother Jack was often the envy of his friends. "You're so lucky," one friend said, eyeing the secure future Jack had thanks to our family business. The conversation soon turned to me, Jack's younger sister, sparking questions about potential rivalry for control of the company. "A younger sister?" "Yes, she's there, but she's more of a simple soul, content with her work behind the scenes," Jack explained, somewhat dismissively. Jack had his own way of preparing for leadership, splurging and socializing under the pretext of gaining managerial experience. He was well aware that his prospective role as president made him popular, especially among women who were drawn to his status. Out of many, he chose Nora, the most dazzling of all, as his wife. Their marriage was a spectacle, followed by an extravagant honeymoon and the construction of a grand mansion to commence their opulent life. Nora seemed perfectly happy in her role, living a life of luxury, always getting her way with Jack. Compared to her, my life seemed unremarkable. Working quietly alongside my mother within the company, I was content with my behind-the-scenes role, far removed from the glamour Nora relished. At family gatherings, Nora's gaze would often fall on me, her laughter tinged with condescension. "You really don't fit the image of a CEO's daughter," she'd say, as if the idea was utterly amusing to her. I never saw the appeal of a lavish lifestyle, a concept foreign to Nora. She pitied me, unable to comprehend someone who, despite being born into wealth, showed little interest in extravagance. "Living such a simple life despite your family's wealth. I just can't understand it," she'd comment, as if the concept of not flaunting wealth was alien to her. This contrast in lifestyles underscored our differing values and perspectives. While Nora cherished material wealth and status, I found fulfillment in the quieter, steadfast contribution to our family legacy. It wasn't about the money or the title. It was about being part of something bigger, contributing in a way that was meaningful to me. Being the daughter of the company's president might lead many to believe that I'd be surrounded by admirers, as my brother pointed out. However, I've always valued modesty and treated my colleagues just like anyone else, which might come as a surprise to some. My approach to work and relationships within the company is grounded in mutual respect and learning. I'm fully aware that many of my coworkers possess skills and knowledge far beyond mine. I believe in humility and the importance of every role within our organization, contrary to my brother's belief that a boss should always appear superior to avoid being disrespected by their team. My brother, taken aback by my perspective, criticized my approach, suggesting that a true leader should assert their dominance and delegate all menial tasks to others. This mindset, he argued, was what separated the true leaders within our family from the rest. But when I attempted to defend my stance, emphasizing the value of respecting all team members regardless of their position, my brother abruptly dismissed my views, claiming that such logic made me unattractive in the eyes of potential suitors. Following my brother's harsh words, Nora chimed in, insinuating that my attitude and approach to life would leave me single forever, advising me to strive to be more appealing. My brother even threatened my job security once he assumed control of the company, highlighting our starkly different values and approaches to leadership and personal relationships. After this uncomfortable exchange, my mother offered her support, assuring me that my contributions to the company were invaluable and advising me not to take my brother's criticisms to heart. My father, too, showed his disapproval of my brother's attitude through his stern demeanor. It was clear that my parents did not agree with my brother and Nora's perspectives, leading to a tense period where my brother and his wife avoided our family home. Reflecting on the strain this disagreement caused, I realized that despite the differences in our views and lifestyles, it was important for each of us to live according to our own principles. My brother and Nora continued to indulge in their extravagant lifestyle, dining at upscale restaurants and vacationing at luxurious resorts, perhaps in an effort to cultivate a certain image. Meanwhile, I remained committed to my values, focusing on contributing to our family business in a meaningful and respectful way, cherishing the lessons of humility and teamwork I had learned along the way. Jack was destined to take over as president of our father's corporation, a role he was being groomed for as our father diligently worked to grow his business. However, one evening at home, my father experienced severe chest pains. Concerned, I urged him to stay calm while I called for an ambulance. During those tense moments, he directed me to a letter in a drawer, insisting, "Stella, read this if anything happens to me. The lawyers will handle the rest." His words were barely out before he lost consciousness, and despite being rushed to the hospital, he passed away without waking up again. Jack and Nora, my brother and his wife, were abroad during this crisis and missed our father's final moments. They returned from their vacation 3 days later, just in time for the funeral. Jack's comment, "We're just glad we made it on time. Never thought Dad would pass while we were away," struck me as insensitive. Their nonchalant arrival and failure to acknowledge the efforts my mother and I put into organizing the funeral were disheartening. In a private moment, away from the ears of the company's employees, I confronted Jack about not making an effort to return sooner. His response, void of any apology and blaming pre-booked flights, left me even more frustrated. Yet, in front of our employees, he pledged to honorably take our father's place, a statement that Nora echoed with visible admiration, suggesting that everyone was impressed by Jack's supposed dignity. Despite my irritation with Jack's tardiness and his display of arrogance, I led them, followed by the employees, to the meal ceremony. Jack's behavior remained unchanged, continuing to exude arrogance throughout the event. This moment underscored a stark contrast in values and respect for our father's legacy, challenging the unity within our family and the business at such a pivotal time. During the meal following my father's funeral, Jack questioned the quality of the food, suggesting it was beneath the standard expected for someone of our father's stature. I was taken aback by his criticism, especially since my mother and I had carefully selected the menu in agreement. I told him I didn't appreciate being dictated to, pointing out that his attitude demonstrated a fundamental misunderstanding of what it means to lead. Jack didn't limit his commands to me. He extended them to the employees, including Leo, a respected veteran of our company. I intervened when I heard Jack ordering Leo around, chastising my brother for his disrespectful approach. Jack retorted, questioning why he should show humility towards an employee, indicating he expected more respect as the future president. Nora joined in, supporting Jack's behavior and threatening me with termination if I continued to challenge him. Just then, a man interrupted our escalating argument. He introduced himself as the lawyer my father had engaged to manage his affairs, including his will of fact my father had mentioned to me before he passed away. This revelation piqued Jack and Nora's interest, especially when the topic of inheritance was brought up. They welcomed the lawyer, eager to hear about the fortune they anticipated inheriting. As they discussed the inheritance, Jack became emotional, inquiring about the rumored $500 million. Nora's excitement was palpable at the mention of such wealth, viewing the company and money as their ticket to a dream life. This declaration caused a stir among the employees, but Nora quickly silenced them, boasting about the impending moment of their ascension. This entire situation highlighted the differing values and priorities within our family, especially between Jack and Nora's materialistic view and my focus on honoring my father's legacy with respect and humility. The lawyer's arrival marked the beginning of a new chapter, one that would undoubtedly bring to light my father's true intentions for his inheritance and the future of the company. When the expectation was that the company and a $500 million inheritance would be passed to Jack, the revelation of the will caused quite a stir among the employees, one of whom couldn't contain his laughter. The cause of this commotion became clear as Jack, alongside Nora, learned from the will that the entire company was to be bequeathed to me, the eldest daughter. Jack's disbelief was palpable as he read the words aloud, prompting a shocked reaction from both him and Nora. His face turned white, and he protested vehemently, claiming there must be some mistake. The lawyer present during this confrontation affirmed the legality of the will, leaving Jack increasingly agitated and unable to accept the decision. He suggested our father had lost his mental acuity, declaring any decisions made in such a state to be invalid. This insult to our father's judgment was the last straw for me. I stood up to defend our father's honor and integrity, rejecting the notion that Jack could lead the company. My brother's indignation peaked as I openly questioned his qualifications to be president, pointing out his lack of contribution to the company's welfare. Jack and Nora argued that they had gone to great lengths to prepare for his presidency, citing the construction of a lavish mansion and their lifestyle as evidence of their readiness. I countered, emphasizing that these superficial measures did not equate to leadership or business acumen. Moreover, I revealed that our father had left me a letter outlining the financial support he had provided for Jack, including the costs of the mansion and other extravagances. This support was intended as an advance on Jack's inheritance, significantly reducing his share. Nora's reaction to this news was one of sheer panic, realizing the implications of the will in the letter. The entire scenario unfolded as a dramatic clash of expectations versus reality, highlighting the deep divisions within our family over the legacy of our father's company and the true qualities of leadership and responsibility. Upon hearing the mention of the $500 million inheritance, Nora's confusion and frustration were palpable. Wait, are you saying this entire inheritance is worth $500 million? Have we really spent so much already? It's not right that we got so little, she lamented. It was then that an employee, previously caught in a moment of laughter, stepped forward to clarify for Nora that the $500 million represented the company's valuation, not personal wealth accessible for inheritance. This distinction seemed to elude Nora, who struggled to grasp that company funds were not meant to be divvied up as family inheritance. I explained to Nora that indeed, the wealth of the company was intended for its growth and sustainability, not for personal inheritance, which meant that Jack's portion of any personal inheritance would be minimal. This revelation visibly shook her, unveiling a stark misunderstanding of the difference between company assets and personal wealth. At this juncture, Jack, struck by a sudden outburst of realization, or perhaps denial, appealed to the employees, questioning their support for me as president over him, claiming a birthright to leadership by virtue of charisma he believed he shared with our father. However, the silence that followed spoke volumes. None of the employees rallied to his defense. Leo, a veteran and respected figure within the company, then addressed Jack directly, contrasting the genuine charisma and foundational legacy of our father with Jack's misplaced arrogance. Leo's words struck a chord, highlighting the respect earned through actions and humility rather than entitlement. He pointed out Jack's absence and lack of contribution to the company's daily operations, dismissing Jack's excuses of networking as irrelevant to the real work needed to sustain and grow the business. In stark contrast, Leo praised my efforts to understand and contribute to the company from the ground up, acknowledging the sincerity and dedication I shared with our father. This endorsement from Leo and the collective nod of agreement from other employees underscored a communal recognition of my fit for leadership, based not on entitlement, but on commitment and respect for the legacy and future of the company. Moved by their support, I felt a renewed sense of responsibility and gratitude. The employees' recognition of my efforts and their trust in my leadership validated the path I had chosen to follow, one that honored my father's values and the collective ambition of our company's family. I expressed my gratitude to the employees, acknowledging the unexpected turn of events, but emphasizing my commitment to the company, a passion inherited from my father. I asked for their continued support, and their warm applause bolstered my resolve. I then asserted the value of every team member, stating anyone who overlooks this is not worthy of a leadership position, hinting that even a president could dismiss such an individual. This comment irritated Jack. "What are you saying? I'm your brother, and you're suggesting you'd fire me if I were president?" Jack protested, bewildered by my stance on competence over familial ties. He looked around for support, but the employees' cold responses signaled their agreement with my perspective. Feeling alienated, Jack and Nora quickly left the scene. Following this incident, Jack found himself unemployed, relying on the modest inheritance he had received, which dwindled rapidly. "Can you lend me money, Stella?" he later asked. But faced with his continued lack of initiative to secure employment, I was repelled by his dependency. I advised our mother against offering financial aid, noting his fall from grace and the abandonment by his once loyal friends. Nora, who had envisioned a life of luxury as the company president's wife, also found little sympathy from her social circle following these developments. Eventually, the financial strain forced them to sell their mansion, a temporary solution that provided a brief return to their former lavish lifestyle, but was not sustainable in the long term. Their savings evaporated, and when they finally considered employment, their lack of work experience and the reputation they had cultivated left them unemployable. This chain of events highlighted the consequences of entitlement and the lack of foresight, underscoring the importance of hard work, humility, and the value of maintaining good relationships with those around you. In the twists and turns of life, Jack found himself stepping into a new role, one vastly different from the future he once envisioned. He secured a part-time position at a convenience store, a stark contrast to his previous aspirations. This job, unfamiliar and challenging, placed him alongside younger colleagues who often noted his lack of proficiency. It was a humbling experience, one that forced Jack to confront the realities of a world he had previously overlooked. Nora, too, faced a significant shift in her daily life. The days of being a full-time housewife, once filled with leisure and luxury, were replaced by the realities of part-time employment. She took on a role as a cashier in a supermarket, working long hours for modest pay. This new chapter for Nora was marked by hard work and perseverance, a stark departure from her prior expectations. Meanwhile, I leveraged the insights and experience gained from my behind-the-scenes contributions to the company. With the support of Leo and our dedicated team, we focused on the company's growth, drawing strength from the challenges we faced. The ordeal with my brother not only tested our resolve, but ultimately united us more firmly than ever. Together, we aim to honor my father's legacy by expanding the business and fostering a sense of community and achievement among our employees. This contrast in paths highlighted the unpredictability of life and the importance of adaptability, humility, and the value of hard work. While Jack and Nora navigated their new realities, Their journey underscored the lessons learned from facing adversity head-on. As for me, I remained committed to guiding our family business forward, cherishing the lessons from the past while building a brighter future for everyone involved, fulfilling a promise to bring joy to our father's memory.